But this is it. We made fun of a Nazi. Brother, you have to be a little bit more tactical about this stuff, okay? You have to, you know, I would have liked to have a one-on-one conversation about that and numerous other things. I wasn't going to like glaze him. And that's now the reason why he's not coming on. It's all good.
You will pet me, whether you like it or not.
We can talk about what the industrial focus looked like in the USSR, and perhaps there should have been maybe a little bit more of a focus on developing commodities rather than just like industrial production of steel and you know, military. But the reality of the matter is, you got to give people treats. My point was that the abundance of treats in the United States of America, as opposed to the Soviet bloc, definitely was, you know, agitating people for sure. People are stupid. People are silly. People don't always have an ideological commitment to a better future and want to like go through the process of development, go through the process of collectivization and all the pain that comes along with it. There is one country, however, that actually came out on the other side of that, and that country is China. The reason why I'm talking about that is because China has been able to go through this process and has come out successful on the other side, right? And because of that reason, now, when you look at the Chinese trajectory, the Chinese state's trajectory, and compare it to the American state's trajectory, it becomes increasingly clear that, you know, one country is going up, one country is developing, one country has a prosperous future, and the other is the exact opposite. So if there was a similar analysis to be made leading to the fall of the USSR, the illegal dissolution of the USSR, if there was analysis to be made there about like what some of the issues were, I think you can make that same analysis now as to why it's virtually impossible. Why it is virtually impossible for the American youth to avoid China maxing.
Rejecting our value, our culture, and it is, as you said, romanticized communism.
Like they can keep chirping about the big red menace and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, all of our elites are pedophiles. Okay? All of our elites are pedophiles. The cost of living has not been solved at all. It's getting worse and worse for people. There's so much poverty. There's so much debt. There's so much destruction all around us. All we know how to deal is lead around the globe. And then people have this expectation that you're supposed to sit there and love what you're experiencing because like the alternative is far scarier. But people have the capacity to see the alternative with their own two eyes, partially as a consequence of the social libertarianism that like Western countries have as far as like free speech, free flow of information. Regardless of the propaganda efforts, people can still see what's going on over there and go, well, that seems pretty good to me. I don't know. Maybe we should try that. That's it. That's all I'm saying. This is the next next anti-comedy segment be like, former Viet Cong speaks out. That's funny. The reason why my parents hated communism is because they didn't have treats. They were told that the reason they don't have treats, no blue jeans, no rock, is because of communism. It never went deeper than that. When you have a communist state with treats, that kind of propaganda don't work law. Exactly. That's like a major issue. I think a lot of people don't factor in different ways of governance, because all matter of governance is authoritarian inherently. Okay. That's what the government does. It's authority, right? And what a lot of people don't realize is that like treats are a major part of this process. They're a major part of the struggle. If a government actually offers commodities and treats, it gives a sense of comfort and security. A government must offer the diversity of choice, even if it's like fallacious, even if it's not real, even if the choice is actually coming from like 3 producers overall. The very fact that you feel like you have a choice to begin with is what makes people comfortable. These are things that you have to keep in mind. And I do like, these are the things that people have to keep in mind. And I do like that, like, these are the reasons as to why China has been seen in the way that it's being seen currently. Anyway, Ro Khanna dropped the names of the redacted pedos. We're going to be talking about that. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world. Let's get into it. So much happening. Ana Lilia Mejia is officially the candidate for the Democratic Party in New Jersey 11. Tom Malinowski has endorsed Ana Lilia Mejia, which, by the way, respect to Tom, because normally establishment Democrats would have fought. They would have come back into the battle. They would have tried to fight in the general. They would have ruined the chances of like a Democrat being on that seat. And I'm glad that like in the post-Zoran mayoral victory, establishment Democrats, at least guys like Tom Malinowski, are just saying, no, it's over. It's done. Shouts out to AIPAC. You f***ed it up. And you f***ed it up for every single person. But, we're going to continue. So that's good. He's not doing the Cuomo route, which I appreciate. Not everybody's Cuomo. What do you mean? What do you mean not everybody's Cuomo? Everyone is Cuomo. Let's be real. Establishment Democrats are exactly like Andrew Cuomo because their primary goal is to make sure that what happened at New Jersey 11 or what happened in the New York mayoral race never happens again. Okay? They don't want that. They don't want that to happen. Yeah. And as soon as obviously the race ended, right? As soon as it ended, a sequence of endorsements follow through. New Jersey Dems backing Mejia in April special and June primary. Governor Mickey Sherrill, State Dem Party Chair Leroy Jones, Senator Cory Booker's, Representative Bonnie Wasson-Coleman, Representative LaMonica McIver, Representative Rob Menendez. We could do without that one. That's fine. Fourth place finisher in the special, Brendan Gill. Her close opponent in the special, Tom Malinowski, if AIPAC backs someone running against her. So that's it. It's over. AOC connecting Gaza and Cuba is huge. I know. It is huge. Respect to AOC. She did it. She done did it again. This is why it's important to, while being critical of our politicians, it's important to make sure that, you cherish the moments where they can have impact and they use that moment in the spotlight for decent impact. Okay? And no, I will not be hearing this nonsense right now. I don't care. Okay? I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this with you. I'm not going to do this in general. Okay? If a politician comes out and directly connects the colonial violence and the siege style death and destruction that Israel has done to Palestinians in Gaza, to what America is doing in Cuba, I'm not going to sit there and be like, wah, well, she wanted to fund defensive weapons for Israel. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We moved on from that. We're not having that conversation right now. This is a different conversation. Okay? That's it. It sounds to me like you are romanticizing communism a bit too much, though. Not having Western capitalist treaty was definitely not the biggest problem with the USSR. I never said that was the biggest problem with the USSR. I was talking about like the people's discontent beyond, an environment of surveillance and all this stuff. That certainly played a role in it, especially because a contemporary example of a communist one-party state that's like currently dominating, that has tremendously high approval ratings that have never existed in the Western world pretty much, is China. And perhaps there's a reason for why the Chinese are so happy with their government, regardless of the fact that their government also has, surveillance initiatives and things like that. One must ask the question, why? And that is the answer. I'm giving you the answer to that. There's like tremendous development, a lack of interest in engaging in any sort of even defensive anti-imperialist initiatives around the world. I don't even like that China is very agnostic about the countries that it deals with, but that has been fairly that has helped in China being able to develop. Anyway. Graham Platner is skyrocketing popularity. That's not surprising. He is the candidate for the moment, even with like all of the things that people like myself or this community would consider to be, ridiculous and awful. Graham, all of those things are perfect for him in the market that he's running in and the audience that he's trying to captivate. Like all of the reasons as to why we don't like Graham Platner, or we might have criticism of Graham Platner, is the reasons why people like him. When are you having him on? He's not. I don't think he's going to come on. He wanted to come on. Initially, his team wanted to bring him on, but y'all yelled and cried so much and pissed and shit in your pants and farted that I couldn't even have a conversation with him about his background and get to know him better and get to understand where he was coming from. I don't think he's ever coming on because we're like 100%. See, but this is it. We made fun of a Nazi. Brother, you have to be a little bit more tactical about this stuff, okay? You have to, you know, I would have liked to have a one-on-one conversation about that and numerous other things. I wasn't going to like glaze him. And that's now the reason why he's not coming on. It's all good, you know? I mean, I don't really give a shit. Like I said, it's out of my hands. We're Pills Mafia, baby. We're Pills Mafia. Graham Platner is literally the liberal Donald Trump people have been looking for. Yeah, no, he is the candidate for the moment. He is the leader of the American woke chud movement, okay? Straight up. We're Janissaries, but as Janissaries, we understand that, you know, being moderate and all this stuff. Oh, God, I'm skipping the Nancy Guthrie stuff. I know there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of interest in the Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie story, but I want to get started with Ghislaine Maxwell. Is that all right? Can we do that? Because there's a lot of news to cover, and I do want to. It's a little petty on his part. No, he has nothing to lose by coming on. It's your show, dog. Why do you ask? I don't know. I try to have as democratic of a process as possible, even if it leads to, you know, L after L after L, a sequence of L's. You got AOC's UAW speech on the docket. I watched pieces of it. It was really good. Hassan heads clashing with our ops is gold. What is this? Oh yeah, I mean, I retweeted this a while back. This was I guess like they deleted the clip, but it was Aiden Ross literally being like, "Oh, Hassan only says free Palestine and abolish ICE because it's fashionable now." And then someone was like, Hassan has literally been saying free Palestine and abolish ICE before everyone. Aiden Ross might actually be the dumbest person on the platform this size. His closest second is Nick Shitley. His brain cells are struggling trying to fight back against Piker. How many times have you said this isn't a democracy? That's why I said I try to maintain a democratic process to the best of my abilities. Okay? Even people who don't like Hassan didn't fall for that clip. I know. I think something very funny is happening in the utterly irrelevant, like, centrist Democrat content creator circle. Okay, there's something very interesting going on where people are just like, you know who the real issue is, you know who the real op is right now. Not Donald Trump, of course. I mean, we all hate Donald Trump, but like the real op is Hasan Piker. I've been seeing people come out with that narrative more and more, and it's always like K-hivers. And it's really funny because, like, on the one hand, the K-hivers are like too busy trying to prop up Jasmine Crockett. On the other hand, they're trying to, you know, they're spending their time wisely. On the one hand, they're propping up Jasmine Crockett. On the other hand, they're coming after someone like myself saying, Hassan is not a real Democrat. Okay, yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm not a real Democrat. If you're what a real Democrat is, no wonder the party is failing. Okay, suck my dick. Hassan has not demonstrated sufficient loyalty to the Democratic Party. Yeah, of course not. Of course I have not, because I have political goals. Do you agree with those political goals or do you disagree with them? That's the real question. Do you disagree with an expansion of social safety nets that already exist? Do you disagree with socialization initiatives? Do you disagree with nationalization initiatives? We can have a conversation around that, but many of these people don't want to have that conversation. All they want to talk about is personalities because they are utterly devoid of policy. And that's why they're perfect defenders of the current institutionalized rot that is the establishment Democrats. Because if they were to have a conversation around policy, they would recognize something that many Americans have recognized, including lifelong Democratic Party voters, which is that the Democratic Party oftentimes fails at delivering their agenda, right? I am interested in finding out why.
You will pet me, whether you like it or not. Broadcasting service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. The Piker Broadcasting Service is where you get tomorrow's news today. Whether you like it or not.